Morning, good morning, good morning. And oh my, look at your beautiful faces. We are such a marvelously colorful group this morning. I decided to put on my red shirt today. I hadn't realized I hadn't worn red for too long. And so it should always be a red day. Hello, hello, hello. Hello to Jane and to Suzanne and Elizabeth and Callie Bullock is in the house. Good morning, Susan and Kathy and Sarah. Huh? How are you? Carolyn, Pete, great to see you. Hi, Annette and Barry. I love this. Charles, we have, so often on all of these, we only have a predominance of women. And I'm seeing some men in the room today. I'm happy for you guys. Thanks for pulling in here. Hi, Barbara and Janet and Pete. Oh, great. Terry, glad to have you here today. Hi, Nancy. Gotta scoot over here. Deborah, good to see you. And Karen, Beryl, good to see your face today. Wow, boy, I tell you, we've got the company. Flawn is here, and Dan Walker, Marta, and Ann. Great to see you all. Susan and Shirley, you all look comfortable. Ready to sing. Mary Eagle and Norm. Martha, how are you today? Great, great. Hindi, oh, someone's calling me. I'm going to ignore that. It's upstairs. Dion and David's here, and Mary Jean Meyer, Sandra, and Busy. We just saw each other not too long ago. And Dennis, thanks for joining again. Boy, what a great group. So welcoming to see all of you, and it's a beautiful day here in upstate New York. A little humid, so I'm gonna have to put on the dehumidifier this afternoon. But I'll be singing all day today for one place to another. So thanks for joining us here. We're gonna have a marvelous time today with Peggy Seeger. But Peggy is over across the pond getting herself composed. So I'm just going to do a little bit of warm up here. Song that was sang this morning, and it's one that I've certainly done in this room. This little light of mine. So this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. I think I'm going to actually play the guitar today. My guitar has been a very good friend to me. I've been writing a lot, and so let's everybody take a nice deep breath. And as we sing today, let's look at each other in our Zoom room and just, when you're in the studio, sometimes you have to remember that you're concentrating and you're, really thinking about delivering the words, but sometimes the look on your face, the fact that you actually have a smile, makes a tremendous difference in the way the sound translates. So this is a song about having light, so let's see some smiles here. Well, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Well, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine all around this world. I'm gonna let it shine all around this world. I'm gonna let it shine. Well, all around this world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Way down in my heart, way down in my heart, I'm gonna let it shine. Well, way down in my heart, I'm gonna let it shine. Well, all down in my heart, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Well, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Well, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Yeah, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. feeling some light coming into the room. Yes, indeed. Oh, my. So let me check to see. There she is.
Yeah, hello.
Hey, one of our icons. I'm going to go ahead and name it. One of the songwriter, and storyteller, and a vibrant spirit who has worked for justice on so many frames. And so we welcome today the amazing Peggy Seeger. Thank you for coming, Peggy.
Thanks, Reggie. Well, I'm not very vibrant today because for some reason, I mean, over here it is now, let me see, it's 10 past 5 in the afternoon. And for some flaming reason, I thought I was on at 7:30. So I was still asleep about a half an hour ago. So you're going to be the first people that have heard me sing a half an hour after I've been asleep. And you can always say, that was something different. So anyway, this is a song that I wrote back in 1969, 1967, somewhere around there. And we had a member of parliament named Enoch Powell who was very concerned about the number of people coming in from the West Indies. And he gave what was called his Rivers of Blood speech, which you really must look up. Uh, it's Enoch Powell, Enoch, and he said rivers of blood will be flowing in. Have we frozen? No, we haven't. Reggie has frozen. You'll recover in a minute, Reggie, I'm sure. To one of our famous anthems called Jerusalem, in which it referred to our green and pleasant land. This is telling me my internet connection is unstable, so I may disappear at any point. So, I was going to a songwriting seminar on that day in Wolverhampton, and Enoch Powell's patch was Wolverhampton. It's a very industrial town, it was, and it was one of those rainy, horrible English days. We have 50 shades of gray weather over here. They are just unbelievable. And as we went, and we were in a car, there were these rivers of color because West Indian people brought color to this country. They brought an incredible, beautiful clothes. And when they walked, it flowed. It's kind of the same now with a lot of the Muslim people with their scarves. Not that the English people are dour, but we were rather dour. We were still recovering from the war then. And the war ended over here. It's continued all around the world for the United States, but it ended in 1945. So we'd had 25 years of becoming the dour English again. So I thought, these people that you're talking about have brought an endless variety of new foods, textiles, crafts, songs, music, and they're standing at the bus stop waiting to do jobs that the so-called English people aren't willing to do. So I made up this song and I called it Hello Friend. Normally I do not sing this low. If I ever decide to trans, this is probably how I'll sing. I mean, I've already gone part way, into that what used to be a nether world, as my partner is female. So I called it Hello Friend. It's still, we have refugees, migrants, immigrants, they're called, people fleeing all kinds of trouble, economic violence, wars, many of them made by the United States and the UK. So it's a welcoming song. And you have to forgive my voice. I don't think I have ever sung this low in public. And hello to all my friends there. Hello, friend. I believe you're a stranger. Where do you come from? Hello, friend. Something in your face reminds me of the sun. but the northern light is thin against the darkness of your skin. Hello, friend, I'm glad that you could come. When you talk, I hear the echo of the places you have been. When you walk, colors all around you fluttering in the wind. When I listen to your song, I feel you really do belong. No more a stranger who's only just come in. Did you find new friends to help you? Can you earn a living here? No one's blind to the threat that's all around you and the warning loud and clear. Or did your troubles just begin with the color of your skin? Never mind, I'm glad to see you here. You know the Dole, that's the unemployment agency. Yeah, is it called that in the United States? The Dole, D-O-L-E. You probably know it as pineapple, yeah. Did you come to climb a mountain and end up in a hole? Have you won the right to join our people signing on the dole? Can you be happy here amid suspicion and the fear? Or will you run and never more return? You know, when I first came over here, there was almost no discrimination according to what shade you were. The English, so-called, or the British, whatever you wanted to call us, were pasty white because of the gray. And we were constantly trying to go down to Spain to make ourselves darker. And along come dark people, and we're trying to prove that we're lighter. I mean, you know, I bet if we go to Mars, we'll find that green people are discriminating against blue people. The blue people against green people, let's put it that way. And the blue people will go out into the yellow sunshine and try to make themselves green. You know, it just seems to kind of, I have no idea. It's been going on for too long. So final verse. Hello, friend. All of us are strangers in this green and pleasant land once again. Battle ranks are forming and we need a helping hand. Yours the fear and ours the shame, but our goal is just the same. In the end, this will be our native land. So that's an old song, 1969, you know, 1969. Amazing.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, well, it clearly still has a lot of resonance now.
Mm.
It's I love the tag in "Hello Friend."
Yeah. Well, it just brought a whole new dimension to life in this island. A whole new dimension. It was just, I mean, all of a sudden, and when the steel bands arrived, the ones that you made out of the ends of oil drums,
Yeah.
I mean, this place went crazy for them. You know. Yeah, and also a lot of the West Indian restaurants, and with a lot of the new ethnic people that have come into this country. You know, we used to have, can I just keep talking?
Yes, you can.
Uh, you and McCall and I used to travel a lot. And you would stay up late because you were singing late and you didn't get home and into your bed and breakfast bed until about 12 or 1. But when you'd wake up in the morning, breakfast was from 7 to 9. But you didn't want to get up at 9 because you didn't have to leave till about 11 o'clock. But once breakfast was over, and any of the cafes, or cafes as they call them, unless you were a trucker out on the road, they'd be closed after the breakfast hour.
Hmm.
They'd be closed from 11 until lunch hour. So at lunch hour, wouldn't be hungry because we would have had breakfast at one of the trucking cafes. So then we would get to our place of where we were going to sleep, and I would sleep in the afternoon, and you'd want your dinner between 5 and 6. But no restaurants were open, no cafes were open, because they were only open from 6:30 to 8:30 for dinner. I mean, the whole idea of eating at these 2 hour slots. And I used to ask you, and I said, "Are you hungry?" And he'd say, "What time is it?" Uh, so this whole new relaxation of the idea of time that came with other nationalities, not that they were living by their time, but they came from, many of them came from sunny countries where you lived outside and you ate when you damn well pleased, you know. And there was food, there was street food. We didn't have street food. I mean, if you had street food, it got soaking, you know. So it was just wonderful when all these new colors and cultures and food and music arrived. And so, Hello Friend, it really felt as if a lot of friends had turned up for a party. So that's why I made the song. Yeah.
That's so if like I knew that there was a reason I put this red shirt on today. I wasn't quite sure what it was. It's been sitting buried in my closet.
Good.
I usually it's one of my shirts that I take on tour. I tend to be very colorful in the way that I dress, and it is
And it still fits
and
you
it is
after you lost your weight.
well, yes, yeah. This is a consequence of being home and having what I would call my first regular schedule in years.
Right.
So,
Well, don't
tell me,
lose much more weight because you don't want to make your face gaunt. I lost 40 pounds in one go, and I aged 10 years because my face just wrinkled up, because you lose from your face, your
yeah.
wrist, and from your chest if you're a woman. That's what happened. And my face just began to shrink. I put my hands here and I feel, geez, my face is so small these days. Anyway,
I
live,
yeah.
live.
I have a remedy. I can gain 7 pounds in a hurry. Trust me.
I can eat anything, Reggie. I can eat anything. I live on butter. I can eat a half a butter a half a pound of butter at a sitting, and I don't gain weight. I can't get more than 120 pounds. I can't gain. I can't anymore. It won't.
There are a lot of people who would love to have that secret.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
I
I
would
just
like
want
to
to
have
ask you
that.
if now I know that you have for all these years been one of the champions of work and justice, and this song is certainly no different in looking at the way diversity sometimes affects us. But in this new time of challenge and change, I know there's just a lot of things going on here in the United States in terms of questions being asked that really people have been trying to avoid for years. What's the cultural temperature there where you are?
Uh, well, there are some problems because a number of churches, people don't want to not go to their churches, and there are also a number of ritual festivals at this time of the year in which Muslims get together, and that's been a little bit of a problem. Cultural temperature, culture, I don't know what you call our culture. It is so amazingly diverse.
Hmm.
Uh, Crises nearly always bring pre-existing aggravation out to the front. But uh, I don't have my finger on the national pulse anymore. I've hardly been out of this house since the middle of March. I'm not shielding because they haven't sent me the letter from the NHS, from the National Health Service. But because I'm 85 and because I have a lot of ailments, I don't go out to shops. I have three friends who shop for me, and I have one shop that delivers. So I have more or less either been in my house or I go out for walks with a mask on and asking people politely, please step away, because there's a lot of younger people who are not paying a lot of attention.
Hmm.
And I go down to the river and I walk on the towpath, and there's growth on either side. It's rather lovely because they can't mow it right now because a lot of the people who do that work are ill.
Mhm.
We have a dreadful COVID death, not as much as yours, but we're, I think, second in the world for being bad. And a lot of the growth has grown in on the towpath. And so I move over, the towpath is about 6 feet wide, and I have to ask people single file, please, single file. And most of them are very nice about it. One couple walked by, they were both they were what Alexander Smith Campbell calls traditionally built, uh, and they were walking arm in arm, and they took up the whole of it. And I said, "Would you please move over?" I said, I'm in the danger zone." And she said, "No, I will not move over." And so I said to them, I said, "Why?" As they moved up, she says, "We are man and wife. We walk together." I thought, "Oh, this is something new." You know, I think they were holding each other up. I don't know. But very rarely do you, but for the most part, if you ask very politely, please keep your distance, they will do that. Culturally, we are, we have a nitwit for a prime minister. He's a junior Trump. He is quite useless. The press is merciless to him, and so it should be. He is a joke of a prime minister, the same way as your country has a joke of a president. I fear for my country, my two countries, because I have two passports.
Mhm.
I have sworn allegiance to the Queen here, and I have an allegiance to America that I will never ever break. It's my country. It's my country. Who is in the room, Reggie? Who's in the room?
Well, we have a host of folks, and one of the folks in the room today is Dr. Kathy Bullock, who is here. Kathy is just
Hello.
recently
Hello,
retired.
Peggy. I'm honored to meet you and hear you. I just look forward to this very much.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Thank you. Thank you.
Kathy, do you have
I've
anything?
always wanted to wear orange. I love the color. I can't wear it. It makes me look jaundiced. Yeah, yeah,
My
beautiful.
favorite colors, orange and red and purple and everything bright. So when you
There
talked
you go.
about the folks from West Indies, I said, yeah. I'm not from the West Indies, but that it's people of color. Yeah.
Well, it's lovely to meet you. It's
Thank you.
lovely to meet you. Hello.
And oh, Flawn's in the room today as well. Flawn, do you want to say hi to Peggy?
Do I get to see a picture?
Now it seems.
Ah, there we go.
Can you hear me now? Yeah, there
We
we are.
can, we can.
Kathy and I were actually just exchanging some chat in the background privately, but uh, we had a wonderful session with her and her three sisters on Saturday, which was just an amazing time. But Peggy, it's divine to see you, and I have to say that you still have a low range of voice to could be the envy of all the rest of us. So thank you for that
I
song.
will never hit those notes again.
Oh,
One must never say never, Peggy. You just don't know.
Although, if you want to hear the weirdest recording of first time ever I saw your face and the lowest I have ever sung, look on Spotify or on one of those whatever they call them for an album called Folksploitation, and look for first time ever on Folksploitation. It's a dance track that I recorded for, and it's the lowest I have ever sung. It's much lower than that. Folksploitation, first time ever. It's a dance track, and it's outrageous. It's the furthest down the track that I've ever sung, and that is not folk.
Could I ask a question, Reggie? Is it okay?
sure.
You already have.
Another question. Another one.
You only get one.
I want to get one. I wanted to just get some words of wisdom from you, Peggy, as you look there at for those of us who continue to want to follow in the footsteps of you and those others who just have spoke the truth, they've sung the truth, they've lived it. As you look around us, what would you say to us, folks, when we get discouraged and want to just like shoot everybody?
Well, I think I'm not wise. I just it's just a shield that I put up. It looks like it. And
It looks good. It looks good.
thanks. I think for songwriters and song singers, I don't think we need any more anger. We certainly need anger and fury, especially as I think another black man is in hospital now. This is just it's a plague of violence, and that is a different kind of anger, and that is needed. But we have to learn how how to channel it, educating people as to what the police do. Over here, it would be very hard at this moment to object to things that the police do, because one of our really our policeman was dragged to his death. But look up Andrew Harper. He was caught in a heist where two teenagers were running off with somebody else's 4x4, and his foot was caught in the rope, and he was dragged for a mile. He was unrecognizable. And so you would not at this point be talking about the police, because there's police and there's police. What the police are doing many times now is they're crossing with the military, and they're learning from a lot of the tricks that this very warlike country has done in other countries. So there was a BBC producer who once called, his name was Jeffrey Bradson, and this was years ago in the 1960s, 70s, and 80s, who actually called the police the civil war in our midst. That's what he called them. And how to tackle this in art, we need different ways of doing it. Yes, angry songs, like the Clan song. You know the Clan song. You,
Yes.
you don't know the Clan song?
Well, many probably don't.
Have I time to sing it?
Yes, go at it. Go for it.
The country's, let me see. Let's see if the voice. This is an old one. The countryside was cold and still. There was a cross upon the hill. That cold cross wore a mask of blood to hide its rotten heart of wood. Oh, Father, I hear the iron sound of hoofbeats on the frozen ground. Now over the hill the riders came. Jesus, it was a crying shame to hear the snarl upon their lips, to see the blood upon their whips. Oh, Mother, I feel a stabbing pain. Blood flows down like the summer rain. Now each one wore a mask of white to hide his cruel face from sight, and each one sucked a little breath out of the empty jaws of death. Oh, sister, hold my bleeding head, it's so lonesome to be dead. Now he who travels with the clan is a monster, not a man. For beneath that flowing white disguise, I have gazed into his eyes. Oh, brother, won't you stand with me? It's not easy to be free. That's an old one. That's an old one. And there's different ways of tackling songwriting. So different horses for different courses. And it depends on the issue. And the Black Lives Matter is an angry issue, but it also has to be a learning issue. There's books being written about how we are privileged without even realizing how privileged. And it runs right across gender, it runs across age, it runs across nationality, it runs across religion. So studying your privilege, I think, is important, and trying to write songs that will help us to improve ourselves without the anger, at least without aggression. And there's a difference. I think there's a difference between anger and aggression. Uh, uh, and so in songwriting, to answer your question, Kathy, I think is looking at different ways of writing songs, not maybe just writing the first song idea that comes out. Um, I made a songbook once of 150 of my songs. It's called the Peggy Seeger Songbook, and you can get it, and it has an owner's manual at the beginning, and it has a whole chapter on songwriting,
Hmm.
and it posits something like this: you can write say there's a canary in a cage, and there's a cat outside the cage, and its kittens are sitting over there. Now, you're going to write a song. Under who's do you write from the point of view of the canary who can say, "Ha ha, I'm in here"? Do you write from the point of view of the cat staring there and thinking, "I can terrify you. I can break this. I can break this cage"? Do you do it from the point of view of the kittens, which are calling out to mama, "Mama, forget about the canary. Go and get that mouse in the corner"? Uh, or you can point out, you can make a big political thing here. You're in a cage and the cat is out there, and you can look at us at the United States right now, where we are in a cage, where anytime that we want to be free and want to go anywhere, we have to stand up, hold our hands up, and be searched, and have take our shoes off, and make a misery out of what should be a magic thing like flying, because we have turned ourselves into, we are the ones who are not free now because of the way we act around the world. So these are different ways that you can look at it. You can, the cat could write a song themselves about how much better the canary would taste just killed than that awful cat food that they keep opening the can to have. I mean, there's so many different ways that you can look at making a song. And so that's why I liked Hello Friend, because it was a welcoming song. It wasn't a song saying, "Okay, so-called white people, stop all this nonsense about green and pleasant lands and rivers of blood, and let's talk about what this influx of new people have brought to this country." So writing songs of different types, getting out of a... Susan, you're in Idaho? That's amazing. I'm talking to someone in Idaho.
It's a very beautiful place.
I have been there. I've been there. I saw, what was her name? The one who wrote The Little House in the Prairie. I think she had
Laura
been
Ingalls
to Idaho,
Wilder.
didn't she?
Yeah.
Is
We have
that,
a lot of political work to do in Idaho. It's not in balance out here.
is there anywhere in the United States that is in balance?
Good question.
There are different kinds of balance.
Yes.
I think in the same way that you were talking about songwriting and perspective, I think in so much of the United States and in several other places around the world, we have a lot of people who are using anger as a destination. And so I think many of the people who are writing songs, and I was just on a wonderful broadcast 2 Sundays ago with people like Amy Carol Webb and Annie
Oh,
Wentz
she's
and
one of my icons.
Joe Crookston and Pat Humphreys and Sandy Obertal, and largely we're really focusing our writing on examining what's happening, but as we say, also lining out where the possibility of hope lies.
Right.
And so I think we are finding small amounts of intensity around a larger perspective, and finding that place in ourselves where we can express what's happening. And this is, I think, what the spirituals do so very well. They
Yeah.
acknowledge the situation that you're in. They give a small amount of release to dealing with that situation, and then they point us in the direction of hope.
Yeah.
I ain't going to let nobody turn me around. I'm going to keep on walking, keep on talking,
Yeah.
marching up to Freedom Land. We are clearly not at Freedom Land yet,
Right.
but
Right.
we're marching. So
Yeah.
I think your song today has shared some of that hope of the opportunity to really take a wider look at the opportunities that our diversity presents for us. So thank you.
Sometimes if we start off a new idea and let it just go, a new view of something. My partner lives in New Zealand, and she said there was a program, and it was an American. I forget who it was. Maybe it was a high journalist or someone was actually speaking about. I call him Resident Trump, not President Trump. Resident Trump. They were saying the people who are attached to him at that very base level, he says it has the aspect of a cult rather than a political party.
Oh, absolutely.
And so making this a new view of the man, because there are a number of good people who are Republicans. There are a number of not so good people. Well, good, what the hell is good these days? I have no idea. There you go, value judgments. But looking on him in terms of a cult makes it a very different idea, the election. You know? So the same way as new memes and new words enter the flow of our culture, I do believe might change some aspect of the election, that you are a member of a cult if you vote for this guy, you know.
Well, every aspect that focuses on our connection to each other, I think, will really help. And
Yeah.
we're going to have to bring our time to a close today, but thank you, Peggy, for joining us and for rousing yourself. And
Well,
I kind of like that place in your voice.
thank you, Reggie, and thank you for stepping in for me when I really needed to get my voice going. And
Oh,
hello,
hey,
hello, all the
absolutely.
ones I haven't seen, and I know there's a lot of you there, and it's been a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me, and just keep wearing the red, and don't lose too much more weight.
We're gonna go out and sing that chorus on "This Little Light of Mine" one more time. Uh, let's do
Key of
"In
G.
Our Colors of Diversity." You want G?
Nate, that's what you were in. I was accompanying you, and you
Oh,
were.
why, thank you so very much.
Yeah.
All our colors of diversity, I'm gonna let it shine. All our colors of diversity, I'm gonna let it shine. All our colors in diversity, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let's give another huge, loving round of applause to our dear friend Peggy Seeger. We're going to say goodbye to all of our friends on Facebook.